crazy laws in North Korea. 1. Whether you're a woman who prefers the buzz cut or a man who loves to grow his hair as long as Rapunzel's, the good thing about hairstyles is that there are endless possibilities to the things you can do with your hair. Unless you live in North Korea. The Hermit Kingdom implements state-sanctioned haircuts. Men can choose from 10 hairstyle options, but they are not allowed to grow their hair longer than 5 centimeters. Women, on the other hand, have 18 choices. Married women should have short tresses, while the singles can model longer and curlier locks. By the way, the Supreme Leader's hair isn't one of the options. That's exclusive. 2. Spending years in a prison cell is hell. Heck, even spending a few weeks in prison isn't a party. But you know what's worse? Being in prison for a crime that happened before you were even born. The Hermit Kingdom follows the 3-generation punishment. When you're sent to a labor camp because of a crime you committed, the following 2 generations will pay for your crime with you. Those born in prison will be considered just as much a criminal as you are, even if they had nothing to do with your crime. They will work under the burning sun as you will, side by side. It's a different kind of family bonding. 3. Whether it be mom and dad's wedding photo or junior's graduation pic, the living room wall is a place for family portraits. Well, unless you live in North Korea. In the Hermit Kingdom, every household must hang a portrait of the Supreme Leader in the most prominent wall of the house, preferably the living room. It must be hung off-center and must be kept in good condition, because any damage to the portrait means punishment is in order. In 2007, when the house of a North Korean man was flooded, he let go of his 5-year-old daughter but managed to secure the portraits. Can't make this stuff up. 4. Every election is a chance for the people to once again choose the new set of officials that will lead them to a better tomorrow. Well, unless you live in the Hermit Kingdom, they do elections a little differently there. Other than the legal age to vote being 17 in North Korea, everything is pretty much the same. But when you open your ballot, you only see one option for the position of Supreme Leader. The only name you see is Kim Jong-un. So yes, Kim Jong-un is as undefeated in elections as Floyd Mayweather is in boxing. Who needs campaigning? Am I right? 5. Basketball is one of the most popular sports in the world. It's played in every corner of the globe. Whether you're an athletic player who can jump out of the gym or some sharpshooter swishing it from 40 feet like you're Steph Curry, you can play pretty much anywhere without a problem, once you've learned the sport, right? Well, it's a little different in the Hermit Kingdom. In North Korea, basketball is a totally different sport. In their rules, a slam dunk is worth 3 points, not 2. Missing 3 shots means a point is deducted. And most importantly, during the game's last 3 minutes, every shot is worth 8 points. Imagine an 8-point play. 6. You're at a boring meeting with your boss. You're seated at the back, far from your boss's eyes, and suddenly, it starts. You're just trying to listen, but you can barely keep your eyes open. Eventually, you just gave in and slept during the meeting. These things happen. If you thought your boss overreacted after that time, try having a meeting with Kim Jong-un. In the Hermit Kingdom, falling asleep during a meeting with Kim Jong-un means disloyalty and may lead to a death penalty. In 2015, the country's defense minister was gunned down because of sleeping in the presence of the Supreme Leader. 7. Some of the best things about traveling to a new country are being able to talk to locals and visiting places you've never seen before. Well, unless you visit North Korea. The government closely monitors tourists in the Hermit Kingdom. Each one is given a guide to making sure that they use the specific routes mandated by the government and can only see the places the government wants them to see. They are also not allowed to talk to locals, which may lead to being arrested if they choose to do so. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's up with these restrictions? 8. There's nothing like going abroad and visiting a foreign country. Luckily for us, we only need 3 things to do just that. Some spare time to do it, resources to pay for your trip, and lastly, you can't live in North Korea. Citizens in the Hermit Kingdom are not allowed to leave the country. Death is almost a certainty if you try to escape or hide from Kim Jong-un's rule and get caught. Guards will even shoot at people who cross the border without official documents. I guess it's safe to say they practice a different kind of patriotism there. 9. There's nothing worse than doing some work on your computer or playing a game on your PlayStation, and the power suddenly goes out. Luckily, it doesn't happen much for most of us, unless you're in North Korea. North Koreans experience power cuts every night because of the energy crisis in the country. You need to have specific permission to use electricity. In fact, their situation is so bad that owning a microwave is illegal because it uses too much electricity. Yikes! 10. Is it me, or is there just something cool about living in your country's capital city? It makes you proud to say where you're from, and it's probably the country's best, most progressive city. But the best part is, it's not really that hard to live there, right? Well, unless you live in the Hermit Kingdom, only the wealthiest and most influential people in North Korea are allowed to live in Pyongyang. Kim Jong-un wants to see only the most successful people in their capital. You must have express permission to live in Pyongyang. 11. Compulsory military service is not that rare. A lot of countries like Russia and Brazil implement it. But just like in other aspects of life, North Korea implements compulsory military service differently. In the Hermit Kingdom, military service is mandatory not just for men, but also for women. North Korean females between the age of 17 to 20 are required to enlist in the country's army. They will then be sent to mobilization offices all over North Korea. Women have to serve in the military for 7 years, while men have to do it for 10. 12. The internet has become an essential part of our day-to-day lives. We use it to check our social media accounts. We use it to watch movies or listen to music. And nowadays, we even use it to read the news. So, can you imagine life without it? Well, if you're in the Hermit Kingdom, you don't have to imagine it. In North Korea, not everyone has access to the internet. At least, not the one many use. Only the highest-ranking North Korean officials can use the internet. Some North Koreans can use the country's local internet called Kwangmyong. Still, unfortunately, it's very slow, and one can only visit websites the government controls for propaganda. 13. If you have loved ones abroad, then I'm sure you've made many international calls in your days. Whether calling your cousin who lives in Germany or talking to your foreign girlfriend, it's always nice to communicate with loved ones who live far from you. Unfortunately, it's a different story if you're in North Korea. North Koreans are not allowed to make international calls and may be punished if caught doing so. In 2007, a factory worker in North Korea was executed by firing squad in front of 150,000 people after being accused of making international calls on the phones he installed in the factory's basement. 14. Do you know what's worse than prison? Prison camps. Places where you're not only a prisoner but also a heavy laborer. And one of the most infamous prison camps can be found in the Hermit Kingdom. Of course. According to reports, about 200,000 North Koreans live in prison camps. But don't worry, that number always goes down since 40% of the prisoners die of malnutrition. The prison camps are reserved for citizens who commit political crimes, not just for them, but also for their families. And if you ever think about escaping, you should think twice, because if you do, the prison guards will kill your family. 15. With the internet making everything available online, many of us have developed a fondness for foreign movies and songs. Who doesn't want to watch these famous South Korean stars sing and dance, or watch a Thai horror movie? Thankfully, our countries allow us to do so because not every country does. In North Korea, watching foreign films and listening to foreign music can get you arrested. In fact, in 2015, Kim Jong-un ordered the destruction of all cassette tapes and CDs that were not from North Korea. And don't even think about watching American movies, because that may result in a death sentence.